Hey Stampers, Diane Dimich here with ddStamps.com, and I want to welcome you to my stamp room tonight. I have some really fun projects to do with you. Actually, it's the tutorial for this month, so I'm going to be showing you the Celebratory Sips suite and sharing the projects that I did for this month's tutorial. So how the month's tutorial works is you place an order with me, I send you a link to a website with PDFs for all the projects that I made. And those PDFs have instructions and the cutting guides and everything. And then after I'm done with tonight's thing, I'll load this YouTube video onto that site so that if you're struggling with the instructions, then you want to see it in real life, you have that, and you can just flip to the channel you want. If you can hear me out there, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Oh, hi, Sylvie. Glad you made it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my camera. I'm going to talk a little bit about Celebratory Sips. As you know, Stampin' Up, hey Linda, is doing a sale this week on their sweets. A sweet sale is what they're calling it. Anyway, so how it works is, for instance, if you buy a suite of products, so say you purchase the Celebratory Sips suites, which I'm going to show you tonight, you can then choose another suite at half price. However, if you decided to do the Celebratory Sips suite and another suite, and then you added on an embellishment or a die set or a bundle that's from our suite products, the lowest price product is going to end up being the half price items. You really want to be careful. So what I'm telling people is, if you're struggling with that, just send me your list. I will help you out. I will get through it. We'll get you the best deal we possibly can and move on. But it is a good deal. So if there's some great products, so you could buy a bundle from a suite and another bundle from a suite, and the second one would be half price, as long as those are the only two items that are from suites on your order. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, let me know. Hey Karen. All right, so I'm going to flip my camera. We're going to go ahead and get started. So Celebratory Sips is the suite, all these S words, that I'm going to use tonight, and it's also the suite that I'm using for my tutorial. So the suite is a great one. I love this Cheers and Sips, which is kind of unusual for me because I don't drink very often, but I just think it turned out really cute. I love the cards, and I love playing with the paper. All right, so there is the die set, or the stamp set, and the die set. And so here's the die set, which I'm going to show some of the products tonight on the die set. But you can see where it cuts out the images from here. It also cuts out images from the paper. And then this one is a little texture stamp for one of your cups. And I'm going to show that. It's kind of cute. But we'll be playing with that tonight. So we're going to do that. And then there are these embossing folders, which I love these embossing folders. There's two in here, 2 to a pack. They're the thinner ones, but this one is a floral. I don't know if you guys can, maybe, not so good. Anyway, it's a floral pattern. I'm going to actually use it on some of a project that I'm making. And then this one is like old-fashioned glasses, plastic cups that we used to have in summertime. Anyway, some great embossing folders. Beautiful gold striped ribbon. It's kind of a mesh. We're going to use some of that. These are great. These are the holographic resin dots, which kind of pick up the colors that are around them. And then the other things that I use on this particular project is the textured note dies, which you know I use a lot. All right, so the paper, let me show you the paper. So if you do place an order, you get that tutorial. And if your order's over $50, I will send you a packet of supplies to make the projects that I'm making tonight. Those that will include the embellishments, the ribbon, the cardstock, and everything. So the only thing I can't do is stamp the images, cut them out. So, but this paper is really fun. I'll just flip through it. Look at how pretty is that? Wait till you see the card I made with that. I love this one. I use this paper a little bit, but with two different techniques I'll show you. And then this one I love. And our die cuts will cut out like the glasses that don't have anything hanging out of them. The die cuts will cut those out. But really, it's pretty simple. Pretty simple to cut out with a pair of scissors. I use some of these. And then this floral set. So those are the colors. It's a lot. Hey, Lynn. It's a lot of the in colors. So there's Timid Tiger and strawberry slush in that paper. All right, so the tutorials that I send you look similar to this when you print them out. So it's a picture of the project that is the instructions for. And hopefully I've got the measurements correctly, but know that I'm human and sometimes I get them wrong. All right, I'm going to start, and then I'm going to show you, I'm going to talk a little bit about my card club that I do each month. All right, so this is the first card. It's really super simple. It's a strawberry slush base. And so I've got the cards here. So here's my base. If I fold this in half, you can use a bone folder. Sometimes I just use my fingers. But there you have it. And then I'm going to grab my cutter, which I wasn't really sure if I needed it. And this one, super easy. We're just cutting an inch. So I'm going to look at the paper, really, and see where I want to cut. I think I want the inch off here. So I was just kind of looking at it just to see what kind of graphics were on that paper. Once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and adhere. Let me grab my adhesive. This can be done with any card or any designer series paper. And then just flip the inch that you cut off. We're just going to flip that around and butt it up against that edge, just to give you a really super easy base. And then I used some of our new, what's it called, ladies? It is called, oh, it's not there. See something. Anybody know what the name of this new color is? Okay, I can grab the catalog and look. The ink pad isn't like sitting right here. I don't know. I was putting stuff away. But it should be here. Anyway, it's just a little 1/4 inch strip to kind of just cover up that seam there. All right, so once I've done that, then I'm just going to take a piece of, this is when I start realizing the stuff I forgot. So I'm going to use a piece of this basic white and the textured note dies. I believe it's that one. So you can do this one of two ways. You can cut the die out and then stamp it, or you can stamp it and then cut the die, you know, match it up. I'm going to go ahead and cut it first because then I don't have to line it up and tape it down, and it goes fairly quickly. So I'm just over here getting ready to cut it. Of course, I'm cutting it and I'm also looking around my stamp room to see if I can find that color. Secret C. That's the color of the cardstock. It's not the color of the ink that I'm using, but it's the color of the cardstock. I knew that I had that here somewhere. So, okay, once I have this done, I'm going to pull up my little label, put my parts back over here, save this piece of cardstock because I'm sure I'm going to need it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and use the cheer stamp, and I've used Memento Black for all of these tutorials. And the reason that I did was because one of the projects that I do uses the blends, and they work better with the Memento. Although you could use it with any of our designer's inks. Here, I walked away. I hope you guys can hear me. Anyway, so any of our classic inks will work with the blends because one's water-based and one's alcohol-based, so they don't mix. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just cut a label out of this new in color Secret C, which is like a dark navy gray. I don't know. I painted my house a couple summers ago, and at the time, I think it was called Hail Navy, was like a big color that everybody, oh, I lost my label. Oh, there, it's underneath my big shot. All right, so Hail Navy, and that is what that reminds me of. The little house next door to me, my brother-in-law lives in, I painted that one. I believe we painted that Hail Navy, and I love the color. So I was excited about it being an in color. So all I did was I just placed this label on my card, and then this label I'm going to use a couple of dimensionals. And these big sheets of dimensionals that I'm using are big sheets of dimensionals that came in paper pumpkin kits. I love that they're that big because they last forever. So I wish we could have those. But yeah, we get them in our paper pumpkin kits. All right, so there's that. And then I just took a couple of the holograph gems. And like I said, they kind of look different depending on the colors that they're on. But they do look like little bubbles. And I like to do things, as I've said before, in threes. Put those aside. Anyway, there's the quick and easy card. Mary, I'm glad you made it. I love this paper too. Wait till you see the rest of the cards. This is the easy one. Then on the inside, I just put a little base of basic white with a strip of designer series paper that from this paper pack that I just had hanging around. All right, so the next card uses one of my absolute favorite colors, which is Blackberry Bliss. This is this was the color of my son's wedding. They used Blackberry Bliss a lot. All right, so let me grab, I forgot one thing. Let me grab it out of the cabinet here. I have to show you this technique with clear packing tape. All right, thanks. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm just using this clear packing tape that I picked up at the Family Dollar. It's just clear. But this is kind of a fun technique. All right, so Blackberry Bliss is the color today. We are going to fold this card in half. And then we're going to take this beautiful piece of designer series paper, which I love. We're going to cut this down. So it's at 4 inches. We're going to cut it down to 5 1/4. And we're going to use this piece. So we'll go ahead and put this one on. And you know, I'm just lining this up. It's kind of hard to see the Blackberry Bliss on this black mat, but I'm just lining it up so it has the same size border around. And then I'm going to flip this over and just add this to the middle. Just kind of breaks it up, but it's kind of fun. All right, so then I have this piece, this scrap that I had here. And I'm going to take some of this clear packing tape. I don't need a ton of it, but I'm going to use this cup here. And if I put that tape on there, now I can cut this out with the dies because they coordinate. And I think I will. Oops, that's the frames. Sorry about that. Okay, here's the dies. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this die and lay it right over the top of that and cut that out together. And I'll be right back. Just a second. I almost feel like I should have music going, but that would be against YouTube's rules. I don't want to have a copyright violation. Oh shoot, it slipped. I should tape this down. So when you're cutting your dies, you have to be careful that you don't take a chance like I did and run it through without anything holding it down. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. All right. I'm just going to set this aside because I'll probably use those two pieces on something else. But what I want to show you is what that packing tape does to this cup. And if I can catch the light just right, see how it shines now? So it looks like it does look like a glass. It's kind of amazing. It's just packing tape. So you can do that with lots of different images. Like if you have an image of a purse or a balloon, anything, and then just give it a texture, a shiny texture. So that's fun. All right, I did put ribbon on this and I didn't put it underneath. This one I put, like, I came around. I already put this on here. Although I probably could pull it off. We'll live on the edge here. I am going to pull this off, because I do like this ribbon on here. So what I did is I came around and I stuck the ribbon to the back. There was adhesive back there, and then I wrapped it around. Oops. Let me grab a scissor. All right, so what I did is we're going to put that one on there and stick it down into the adhesive that was there already. And then I'm probably going to put more adhesive on here, but I want to make sure that this is flat and that I don't have a bow in it when a bow in the paper when I add the ribbon on there, because it'll be more difficult to put it on the card. So we're just going to do that. And then we're going to add this to my card. Perfect. And then we're going to take our little cup that we did with the clear packing tape. Oh, Sylvia uses that packing tape on word dies, which is cool. I just really, I don't know, it was something about that technique that I really loved. And I'm sure there's probably a million other things you could do with it. So I'll just add that cup on there. And then you can see it does kind of stand out because it has shine to it. All right, now I'm going to take this piece of scrap paper. This is the back of the flowers, and I'm going to go ahead and use the umbrella. So I'm going to put that into the Memento ink, snap down on that and make my umbrella. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a die. And this time I actually am going to use the tape, because I'm going to line up that die. I know it's hard to see with the black on that dark paper, but it does show up. And if you wanted to, you could make, I think I will. I'm going to make my umbrella have a little bit of shine to it. You can tell I got cheap packing tape because it's breaking. All right, so there's that. And now I'm going to add the die. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of Post-it tape just to hold it all in place while I cut it. I'll be right back. That taped paper is sticking to everything now. All right, so there is my little umbrella. And on this one, I'm going to go ahead and add a dimensional. And add it to my drink. Hey, Rhea. I was just showing them how to do clear packing tape onto your images to make them shine. So this is just paper. All right, so I'm going to put that on there. All right, so now I have a piece of scrap paper. And we're going to do a couple blackberries. Hey, Mary Ellen, welcome. I do love this stamp set. It's got strawberries and cherries and blackberries. And it's kind of fun, but I'm going to stamp them and I'm going to cut them out. However, I wanted to show on that paper. Let me find that piece of paper. This one here, you have a whole bunch of fun drink items that you can cut out and add to your projects. And I'm going to just go ahead and use the Blackberry Bliss. And that is the light, and I'm just going to put in a little bit of dark. And I didn't do a great job coloring these, but you know how I am about blends. And then if you think they're too dark and you think you want to lighten them up a little bit, you can always come in with one of our color lifters. So sometimes it's cool to have it have a little bit of white space. Ooh, this one is like dripping. Let me grab a napkin. This color lifter, I obviously haven't used it for a while, but it totally dripped out. But anyway, this will just push the ink away and make it a little bit lighter. You see what it did to this one. It's going to be a little blotchy looking. But then I'm going to go ahead and cut. What I would do is I'd cut these out, these little 3 berries out, and I'd add them to my card. And then I would do a label again, using that same Here, I was going to be so organized tonight. There it is. All right. I'm going to use this label again, the same label that I used in the first card, and I'm going to have it be the cheers. So I'll cut that out right here quickly. Maybe I'll cut one of the berries out too, as long as I'm here. All right, here we go. I think on these Thursday night videos, I think I might start like cutting some stuff out early. All right, so I cut a berry out and then I cut another label, and we're gonna go ahead and stamp that cheers again in Memento. Ink that up. This time I actually moved it over. So I put it at this end of the label. And I'm gonna flip it over, add it to my card. And then I'm gonna take this little blackberry. Let me find a little mini glue dot. And add that to my card. All right, so one of the things I want to tell you about the blender, or the, I don't know, the color lifter. I keep wanting to call it the unblender. It takes a little bit for it to dry, but as this dries, that will lighten up a little bit. And then, of course, we're going to add some embellishments, because we do love those little iridescent embellishments. All right, so there is that card. You can see I added a couple more blackberries in there, but I do love the clear packing tape, and you could, like I said, you can do it on lots of different things. So there's that card. All right. Oh, I think I was going to show the inside here. I just stamped. I stamped those with Memento, and then It's Your Day, and put it in and colored it with the blends. So it looks very similar to what's on the outside. All right, so there's that one. This one, I've got like, you know how I am about fresh freesia, or have been? Now I'm kind of getting that way about this Timid Tiger. All right, so this is Timid Tiger base. We're gonna go ahead and fold that. This is the card we're gonna make. You can see this time I put the clear packing tape and then I just cut it with a scissor. All right, and so this is for the inside of my card. This is for the outside of my card. That's this piece here. And what I did with this one is I took one of these textured dies and I lined it up so that I cut it out and I have a frame around it. So I'm definitely going to tape this down because I want to make sure that it doesn't move and that I definitely have a frame, because I'm actually using both pieces. So I lay this where I want it, and again I'm eyeball it because that's what I do. Tape that down, and I'm going to run this through the machine. I'll be right back. Hey, it didn't move. All right. this piece that I ran through, and I've got the frame. And then this piece is actually going to just get flipped over and go right inside of there. So that's how I got those two pieces for this card. So what I did is I took this piece and I actually used dimensional tape. This is some tape that I had laying around here, and I like it because it's wider. Yeah, a lot less paper waste, Sylvie. We'll just use this up. This must have come in a paper pumpkin too, but we do sell strips of the dimensional tape. All right. So there's that. And then I'm going to pull the backs off. And get my card base out here. Now I do have to remember that once I laid this down, that is really sticky, so it's staying wherever I put it. So there, and I did it with dimensionals. Now this piece is actually going to get taped right directly to the card base. So it'll be like an inlay. Super easy to line up. Get it in there and lay it down, and then you've got some dimension to that card. But that's kind of fun. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and choose a couple of these drinks, and I think I'm going to do this one and this one with the clear packing tape. Let me clean this and roll up. Got kind of a jagged edge. All right. I don't know if you see what I'm doing here, but I'm making sure that I get tape. Oops, it's going to have a little crease in it. Oh well. Looks pretty good. I was more trying to make sure I got tape on this one too, so I can use that for another project. And then I'll use this one. And then, once you got that on there, then you're just going to take a scissor. Because these have items in them, the flower and then the lemon, they won't cut out with the dimensional, or with the dies, because of those things that are sticking out. But like I said, these cups are very easy to cut out. And if I wanted to, I could have just brought the clear packing tape up to the line where the cup is. However, I didn't think about that at the time. So, but it looks fine. Even if it's all shiny, it looks good. So that one's going to go on there. And then we're going to use this yellow one. I'll trim this one out. This is a fast cutting job. And then we're going to go ahead, add this one with some dimensionals. No, we're going to put this one on flat. Direct to paper. This one's going to have dimensionals. And I do think I'm going to have to find a little scrap. Just a second. Oh, I thought I wanted to do an umbrella, but I don't have a scrap. Oh, here. Yeah, I do. It's over here. I'm going to go ahead and use the same kind of paper. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp the, here's the ink. Here's the umbrella way over here. And just do this down in the corner real quickly. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this out. Now I did not make this one shiny, just because you don't have to do it with everything. It's just kind of a fun technique. All right, so I'm going to cut this out with my cut and emboss machine. All right, so here is our little umbrella. We're going to add it up here. So we have that little drink. And then we're going to go ahead and use like this is just a straight edge. That's all I was really looking for on this piece of cardstock, was a straight edge. And I'm going to stamp this "Let's Celebrate." And I like to do it so that one, I know for sure one of the edges is definitely straight. And then stamp my sentiment. And then I'm just going to cut this with a scissor. You could make this into a banner. I personally like these angled cuts just because they give it a different look and they're easy to do. And then we are going to add, so because this is a dimension and this has a dimension, I'm just going to lay this on the top of that and they'll meet up. I didn't have to put a dimensional on the end of this one, but there is that card. And then of course, I like the bubbles just because they add a little bit of bling. There's your finished card. I don't know if you guys can see the bubbles, but they're cute. Very similar, just different cups. So you have a whole sheet. All right, let me put the cover on this. Oh, you know what? I wanted to show the inside. So on this particular card, I used the embossing folder. And I was kind of hoping you guys could see that. It's really pretty. So I used one of these embossing folders. And I'm going to line my paper up in there. Just so that part of it is embossed. And I'm going to run this through the machine. And when I run it through, I always run this part in, the fold line in first. So all the pressure comes out this end. You got to set up your cut and emboss machine correctly. When you're using those regular embossing folders, you take off platform number 2. Otherwise it won't go through. All right. So now I hope you can see that. Oh yeah, you can. It's very cool, that embossing. I love this folder. I'm going to go ahead, add some adhesive, stick this inside my card, and it just levels up that inside of that card a little bit. So, all right, there's that one. Next card. I'm doing pretty good. My mess is bad, but it's not horrible. Again, we're coming in, and this time I did things just a little bit differently. So as you can see, this is where I cut out some of the fruits that I have on my card. And I have another piece of Designer Series paper that I am adhering to this Secret Sea place. Is that what it's called? Secret Sea. It's going to take me a while. Yeah, the packing tape idea is cool. Okay, so then I have this piece done. And this piece, this layer, I actually used this embossing folder on, which, like I said, gives it that look of, that kind of reminds me of these cups. We used to go to my aunt's house, And came from a household where we didn't drink pop. We didn't have a lot of stuff like that. But my aunt always gave us a glass with ice and pop in it when we went to visit her. And for some reason, it's not like the cups that we had with her, but it reminds me of that. And we always thought they were so rich because they got pop and they also had sugar cubes. And she let us eat sugar cubes, which I just think it's funny that we thought they were rich, because they probably had about the same amount of money as my folks had. All right, so there's that. I just textured that background a little bit. I'm going to add this onto this strawberry slush piece, and you could use either side. I'm going to do this side. You get kind of a different look on the embossed or the debossed side. All right, so this is just going to layer onto a very thin frame of strawberry slush. And this is going to go on to a base of thick basic white. And then this is going to get added on to here. Like that. And then this piece that I put together is actually going to get added on here. Just offset it a little bit. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this piece of Designer Series paper, which is really kind of fun because they can be drinks or they can be just a background, but I'm going to use them as drinks. So I'll get out my Memento and I'll ink this one up. Oh, I'm going to make sure I got ink on the whole thing. So I just inked it up so that the line of liquid you can see comes across there. And then this other cup, I'll do the same thing with that on this yellow one. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the dies. So we're going to tape this one down. And we're going to tape this one down. Let me grab some tape. Make sure they don't move on me. Now this one, we're going to tape that one down, but we're also going to use this little texture die. So it's going to slide right inside that die. Line them, put them where I want them, and then I'm going to tape them down together. And I'm going to run this through my machine. I'll be right back. Because I'm cutting dies, I have to remember to put plate number 2 back in. So I have enough pressure to cut them. All right, so then I'll come back here. I've got that cup. And then I'll show you this cup with the texture, as you can see on there. It's kind of fun. All right. So this one's going to get laid right directly on my paper. This one is going to have dimensionals on it, just to give it a little lift. These I didn't, as you notice, I didn't put clear packing tape on these, but I could have if I wanted to. Just like to show a couple different things. There's that. I'm going to do another banner. Or another one of from the textured notes. Oh, we'll use this piece of paper, even though I probably have a million scraps laying around. All right, let me cut out a frame. Got a little frame cut out here. We'll add the cheers on there. And we're going to add the Let's Celebrate, which somewhere sitting in front of me is a stamp. Oh, here it is. There's the stamp. All right, so I just want to make sure I have the words going the right way. Stamp that on there too. And then I'm going to use some stuff off the scrap piece of paper.
just to add something to this. So on this particular banner, this side's going to get just taped and the other half is going to get a dimensional, and I'll show you why here. So the adhesive looks like that. You notice on this card, this part is already up on a dimensional with that cup and this side is not, and so it just evens them out so you don't have a bow in your card. Does that make sense? I hope so. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut some of this stuff out. I kind of like this ribbon. I don't know if it's a ribbon, if it's an orange peel, but it kind of looks like a party. Maybe. So you can see I save all my scraps because I can cut stuff out of the paper, or I can use it on the other side if it's for an umbrella or whatever. All right, so this squiggly piece, we're just going to add to my card. We're going to add it right here. And then I'm going to add a lime. With a dimensional. And we'll put this up on my drink. Kind of makes it look like I have a lime and a lemon in there with that lemon behind it. And then I think I'll cut both of these strawberries. Cherries would have been good too, but we'll do this. So we'll do that, and we'll put that one on with a dimensional. Like that. And then if you wanted to, you notice on this one I have something sticking out of the drink here, and I've got this piece here at the edge. So I use a lot of my edge pieces too, because I can go ahead and cut this out. And because it goes off the paper, I can just trim that last flower off. And go ahead. And we'll add this one onto our drink. There's that card. And then, of course, bling. And as you know, I do it in threes because, I don't know, I just do things in threes or fives, odd numbers. This one does not have bling, but this one does. Anyway, those are my cards for my tutorial this month. Like I said, you'll get a packet of goodies if you place an order over $50 with me. There's a great sale on the sweets. All the products in the sweets are on sale, so check that out. The other thing I wanted to talk to you a little about tonight was my card club. So I do a card club every month, and this month actually uses celebratory sweets too. The card club is a little bit stepped up from a regular tutorial. What you get is you get a half a pack of designer series paper, a spool of ribbon, a package of embellishments, and then all the supplies to make 2 of each of the cards that I do. I cut the cardstock and I put it into little packets for you, so it's really simple. I do a video and I also do PDFs, so you can actually either follow along with the video or follow along with the written PDF. But you get 2 of each card plus envelopes. So these are the cards for this month. I love this, and you can see where I use that texture stamp in the back of those. And these are just cut out pieces from the paper. And this is that blotchy paper that I used to cut those glasses out of. I love this one. Like I said, I've gotten into the Timid Tiger and the Peach. And there's the embossing in the back. This one's very similar. You can see I use different embellishments on this one. I use some of the strawberry slush embellishments. So those are the cards for Card Club. If you're interested in that, you can check it out on my website. You can get a hold of me. It's a subscription. So once you sign up, you'll get it every month until you decide to not get it anymore and you cancel your subscription. Oh, hi, Linda. Good. I'm glad you made it. All right. So that is it for tonight. That was kind of a quickie. I won't be on next Thursday because I'm teaching a class locally here in my house. I haven't done that for, well, I did it last month, but I haven't done it for a long time. So it's kind of fun to get back together with people and work on some projects, simple projects, and really it's more fun to talk to each other. But anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to call me, text me, message me. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter. I'll kind of peek. I didn't see any questions come through that I missed. So if you're on my website, I can't answer your questions until it's over, but I'll do it. So anyway, thanks everybody. Thanks for coming. I will see you in 2 weeks here. And I hope you have a great weekend. Take care. Bye.